Okay, imagine the perfect crime. I'm not talking about some messy, impulsive act, but a true masterpiece. A slow, deliberate, and totally inescapable trap set for 10 people, each one hiding a secret sin, all of them alone on an isolated island. Today, we are diving deep into the chilling architecture of what is, without a doubt, Agatha Christie's darkest and most terrifying novel, And Then There Were None.
You know, this quote from Christie herself, it isn't just a simple author's note. It's a mission statement. It really shows you the cold-blooded ingenuity at the very heart of this story. She wasn't just writing a mystery here. She was designing an impossible puzzle box where the solution is just, well, everyone dies.
So, the stage is set. You've got 10 people from all different walks of life, and they all get this invitation that's just too good to refuse, a trip to the luxurious and mysterious Soldier Island. The host is this UNON, a name none of them really recognize, but they all kind of figure, it must be a mutual friend. They think they're showing up for a holiday, but what they don't know is they're actually arriving for their sentencing.
As we meet the guests, we're not just getting their names. We get these little glimpses into their nagging thoughts. Vera Claythorne trying to push away the memory of a coroner's inquest. Philip Lombard kind of smirking to himself, remembering all the times he's sailed pretty near the wind of the law. Dr. Armstrong gets a sudden chill thinking about a mistake from his past. We see these little flickers of darkness from a hanging judge, a pious spinster, a guilt-ridden general. See, every single one of them is carrying a shadow, a hidden weight of guilt they think is buried for good.
So they all gather for their first dinner, and the atmosphere is a little stiff, but civilized. Just strangers making polite small talk. But that thin little veneer of society, it's about to be absolutely shattered by a sound that will turn this fancy drawing room into a courtroom, and every single guest into a defendant. And then it happens. It's not a human voice, it's something else. Recorded, disembodied, completely inhuman. It just cuts right through the chatter with this absolute authority, and the whole party just comes to a stunned, horrified halt. It is, quite literally, the voice of judgment.
The voice just lays out the charges, one by one, with this chilling precision. Vera Claythorne, accused of killing a child. Philip Lombard, responsible for the deaths of 21 men. Anthony Marston, for running down 2 kids. Even the super respectable Judge Wargrave is accused of murder. And just like that, in an instant, these strangers are stripped of their polite masks and completely exposed. They are now, as the voice says, prisoners at the bar.
So, who is this prosecutor? They're all scrambling for answers until Judge Wargrave points out the terrifying truth hidden right there in the name on their invitations. UNON, or UN Unknown. Yeah, their host, their judge, and their executioner is a complete phantom who somehow knows every one of their darkest secrets.
The terror just skyrockets when they notice something. There's a nursery rhyme framed in every single room. The rhyme of the 10 little soldier boys. And this isn't just some quaint decoration. Oh no. They're about to find out that it is the killer's script, a horrifying step-by-step guide to their own executions.
And this is where you see the killer's sick artistry. The first line of the rhyme says, "A boy choked himself." And wouldn't you know it, the handsome, reckless Anthony Marston takes a drink, gasps, turns his horrible shade of purple, and collapses. The game is real. That rhyme isn't a story, it's a prophecy.
And then comes the confirmation. On the dining room table, there's this centerpiece of 10 little China soldier figures. Right after Marston's death, the butler, Rogers, notices something that makes his blood run cold. One of the little figures is gone. There are now only 9. The killer isn't just following the rhyme. They are literally marking off each death.
Dr. Armstrong's words just hang in the air, filled with total disbelief. I mean, a perfectly healthy, vibrant young man, a guy who described himself as a Norse god, hasn't just died, he's been executed, right in front of them. And the cold, dawning horror in that room is that this is only the beginning. As a storm starts to roll in, cutting them off completely from the mainland, the island itself becomes their prison. The boat isn't coming back. There is no escape. The environment literally turns against them, cranking up their terror and forcing them to a horrifying conclusion. The killer isn't hiding in the shadows somewhere. The killer is one of them.
The spiral into paranoia is fast and it is brutal. After the second death, the awful truth finally sets in. They're trapped.
The person you're having breakfast with could be a killer. The person you pass in the hall could be your executioner. Any sense of trust is just gone, annihilated.
What we're seeing is a complete and total collapse of social norms. What started out as this polite little house party descends into a primal state of fear. Formal dinners turn into frantic accusations. Polite glances become cold assessments of who looks the most guilty. This isn't just a group of strangers anymore. It's a den of suspects, and every single one is locked in a desperate battle for their own survival.
General MacArthur, a man totally broken by his own guilt. He's actually the first one to say out loud what they're all starting to feel. His words aren't madness. They're a moment of terrifying clarity. He finally understands the killer's grand design. This island isn't a temporary trap, it's their tomb.
So this brings us to the biggest question of all. Who would do this? And maybe more importantly, why? Is this just the work of some raving lunatic? Or is there some kind of twisted, terrifying purpose behind this whole grand design?
Well, here's the most logical conclusion, right? It's offered up by the judge himself. I mean, the sheer scale and the theatricality of the plan, it just screams insanity. The elaborate invitations, the nursery rhyme, the little disappearing figures, it all seems to point to a brilliant but completely deranged mind.
But then, there's another much more chilling possibility. What if the killer doesn't see themselves as a murderer at all? The pious Emily Brent, reading her Bible, kind of gives us a clue. What if the killer believes they are an instrument of divine judgment, a vigilante, delivering the punishment that the law failed to?
I mean, look at the plan. It's so meticulously constructed. It's not just designed to kill, it's designed to punish. Every victim is guilty of a crime the courts couldn't touch. The murders aren't just killings, they're a form of macabre theater, designed to create unbearable psychological tension and force each person to face their own hidden guilt before the end comes. This is a performance of justice.
And that leaves us with the story's haunting final question. When the law fails, who has the right to deliver a sentence? Our killer is a monster, no doubt about it, a mass murderer. But by targeting only those people who slipped through the cracks of the legal system, did they deliver some kind of twisted, horrifying justice? The book never gives you an easy answer, and it forces us to ask ourselves, where does the line between villain and hero truly lie?